if your wife works, I just want to let you know as a man, you have failed. Now, it's one thing to both be working towards a life where you can allow her to not work and you're just on your way there. But
Allow
it's a
her.
whole nother thing to want your wife to work, which a ton of you on this platform do. And I don't understand it. Shame on all of you guys who make your wife go back to work after having a child. You make her go on maternity leave, enjoy all of the positive things of being a stay at home mother, and then make her go back to work. Why? Just so you can afford a few more toys? Oh, so you can afford your truck? So you can afford another boat? That's why? That's why you have her work?
Mm.
Come on. You're going to have other people raise your children, make memories with your children rather than you or their mother because you want shiny toys. And don't even come at me with in this economy, both people have to work. No, that's not true. Both people have to work if you need to pay for daycare. But if you don't need to pay for daycare, one income can do it. And if the father's income, single income, doesn't cover it, you're living outside your means. You're buying things you can't afford. You're doing things other than advancing your career and finding a way to make more money. This, like everything else in life, is a skill issue. If you're a man and you think you need your woman to work or that you need her
This
income,
motherfucker in the damn
it's a skill
driveway
issue.
doing
I
this.
will not allow anyone on social media to gaslight me or anyone else into believing that
That's
you
like,
need a dual income household. It is not true. It never will.
oh my god.
Tell you, shut your bitch ass up.
Look,
I think we
I
might
know.
end up disagreeing on this one, but go ahead.
No. I mean, I'm okay with him saying what he's saying. Like to some degree, you most men don't want their wives working, especially after a pregnancy. They want their wives to stay home or wherever the case is. What he doesn't acknowledge, some of these women don't have husbands. Like, what are you supposed to do about that? Like, these women do not have husbands. Some of them don't want husbands. Some want to do it by themselves. Some of them don't know who they baby daddy is. At the end of the day, this motherfucker is not going to be. Damn, I gotta edit that out. This dude, this super Chad, he ain't about to be telling people. First of all, I want to see what your bitch look like. Let's talk about that first. I want to see what she look like, and if she's ever been working, then you gotta shut the hell up on this one because all he's doing is getting women riled up and thinking that, hey, that is a good point. Y'all don't want to be wives. How you gonna get a husband when y'all don't want to be wives? Let's talk about that first. Like, it's one thing if they do want to be wives, and you got men just checking out or want to be, don't want to be marrying these women, but y'all don't want to be wives. Y'all want to have 4 or 5 kids, and y'all don't want to get a husband. You want to try to find some gump, some simp, try to like be the husband for all the kids, and you want to treat him like he's a nobody. Like, no. Like, just like that one video we dropped where you ignore me when I was in high school or college, and now you want me back. No, that's why a lot of these women have kids, and they're not with their kid's father. They don't have a good relationship with their kid's father. They're messing up these kids' lives, not having their father in their kid's life or alienating the other parent, the father in this situation. He's assuming that these men want their wives to be working. Yes, I want my wife to be working so she could be possibly having a work husband or having a divorce. Most divorces are when it comes to cheating, most divorces are because of a work spouse. So most men don't want their wives to be working. I don't know what the reason is, but for whatever he's saying, for how he's trying to shame men into thinking that they can't afford to have their wife or they don't want they want their wife to go back to work so they can have a new truck or a boat or whatever the hell it is. What is your wife going to do so you can get a new boat? Like, does he know how expensive boats are? Does he know how expensive trucks are? And the way that he worded this, I think he's talking to white men, but fuck him. Damn, I got to edit that out. This is a family show. Go ahead, MC.
Let me state my position clear from the point, and then I'll build from that. If you are a wife and a mother, you should have the option to stay home and take care of your kids. And I believe you should get a tax credit for that.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
But again, that's wife and mother. I'm sorry, single moms, but there has to be some benefit to getting married. And I think that because they have their husband's income to supplement the losses that they would take from her not going to work. That's point number one. Number two, dual income households are a scam. And I'll tell you why. Most families, the mom and the dad are working full time and they have kids. Okay, so the early part of their life, they're at daycare. So they're being influenced by somebody at daycare.
Facts.
Then they got to go to school. They're being influenced by everybody at school and teachers who, by the way, we already proved a long time ago that most teachers lean very far to the left. So if you're a right leaning person, that's bad news for you. Now, y'all working full time, your kids going to school full time, and now let's be honest, when you get home from work, you're tired. She's tired, you're tired, your kids got homework, they're going to go outside and play. All of this is going on, and I'm telling you, during the week, most parents who work full time are not spending a lot of time with their kids. So they're not being influenced by you, they're being influenced by TV, music, friends, teachers, daycare staff, etc. Now,
Mhm.
on the weekends, you might carve out some time to hang out with them, but what about your wind down time? What about your time to date your husband or wife? Because a lot of couples fall apart because they stop dating and courting each other. So now you got to make time for that. And then by the time your kids become teenagers, they don't really want to rock with you like that anymore. Now they want to go to the mall with their friends and the movies, or they might just want to stay home and sit on their laptops and devices all day because that's this Gen Z, Gen Alpha type stuff. And they're socially awkward. So I say all that to say, y'all are working yourselves to the bone to provide for these kids that you are not even influencing. More than likely, your kids' influences are more external than they are internal. You're not talking to them about sex, at least not in a meaningful way. You're not talking to them on how to deal with situations that they're dealing with on a daily basis. And
Right.
most of y'all not even asking y'all kids how they day went. So let's just be honest about this here. You may as well put your wife in a position where if she wants to, I'm not saying they all should. I'm saying if she wants to, she can stay home and nurture and raise the kids as she should. Because truth be told, if your kid is homeschooled and it's properly done and executed, there's been studies that show that they outperform these people that are actually going to a traditional school. Something
Yeah.
to think about. Something that, like, this country is run by businesses that are anti-family. They just wanted women in the workplace to have a larger tax base,
Yep.
and that's the part that we don't talk about.
Yep. And not to mention, like, just the whole reason women are working because y'all let a bunch of Karens trick you into thinking like, hey, we need to be working too. And you probably have some help from the government because we know what happened in the 60s to the black families. So you let a bunch of people that don't care about your families, your legacy, trick you into, going to the workforce and fighting to be in the workforce. Now you gotta compete against men. Now you really don't have, I mean, for the single women out there who don't have kids, who are trying to have a family, now you meet men less. So you all that stuff gets blamed on the men somehow. Women fought for this, we still get blamed. You got these Derrick Jaxon type mofos, and I don't have a white version of this for Derrick Jaxon, but essentially Derrick Jaxon was a guy that was just lying to women, just trying to get views, just trying to get clicks, doing whatever he can to say like, "Hey, women, you." I mean, I almost feel like he's probably still in Derrick Jackson's playbook on this because here, let me show let me show the audience here because this is the type of BS I'm talking about. This chick says, my boy, we make more than our husbands. And this guy said this is a skill issue on his end. Shut your bitch ass up, man. Like, man,
I'm telling you. Shut your bitch ass up.
this is insane. And again, I better like be clear on this too. Like, if I'm making the money and my wife just had a kid, I don't want her going back to work. I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure she doesn't have to go to work. And most men, when you do get a wife and when you're in your 20s and 30s, you got to make enough money for yourself also, but you also got to make sure you got to make enough money that in case you do have another person and she, delivers your child or whatever the case is. Like, you got to make sure you have enough money for at least two people in your household, maybe even three people, even four people. So you got to figure that out. You got to make sure people you're looking at, like, hey, should we have one kid, two kids, whatever it is? I don't care. Like, do all the budget, do all the math, whatever it is. But you're not going to shame men and try to talk down to men and act like men like are purposely wanting their wives to go back to work. I get it. Some people just ain't got it. And some people, like, at the end of what people should be doing, what men should be doing, like, if you do create a business, you should probably want your wife in that business, helping out. This is the family business. We used to have a lot of that stuff. Like you would have kids like or farmers, like would have a bunch of kids, raise the run the farm or run the family business. Like it was like a little bit more family I guess family. I mean, it was definitely family owned, but also there's a little more, it meant something to be running the family business. Now it doesn't mean anything because you got these kids that don't want to run the family business. I don't want to do that. We see it all the time in the media when it comes to TV shows. Like I want to go to the big city, and what do? They always come back home because that's where they feel comfortable at. That's where they feel like they met someone that they love, someone who's actually genuinely real versus what they see out there is in the city. So you can say whatever you want. Like again, I don't want my chick to work. I want my chick working for me. I want my chick working for the family business. And I've kind of had that conversations when I've talked to women about like, hey, at some point, if things go as far as they think they will, and I'm making the money to take care of you, and if we have a kid, then I don't want you going back to work. And they will fight you for that. They will fight you like, well, I don't want all my money to go into one place, or I mean, I don't want you to have I don't want all the money just going or just to be held by the husband. Like you're his wife. What do you think is going to happen? Like this is that stuff that the feminists talk. They try to tell you like always have your own secret bank account or something. They're teaching you how to destroy your marriage. And most men, I think most men do not want their wives going back to work. But these women, they want to go back to work because they got to be out here in these streets. They got to be out here with their work husband. They got to be out here wearing that type of dress so they can go, the Joy Taylors of the world, so they can move up in the world, so they can have their own money or make more money, so they don't have to be beholden to their husbands. Like that's
And
the
they typically have more consumer debt than men too, at least in the black community. That's how it
well,
is.
yeah, definitely the education, the most educated and the most in debt.
So I'll never forget this, man. And one thing I should have hit on earlier is people with multiple kids. Sometimes they'll try to take this
Hold on,
shortcut.
MC.
Yeah,
I gotta call this shit out.
which
Look,
one?
this is what this guy is doing. How do I send this to my husband? I'll do it for you. This is the guy talking to your wife. Like, maybe we should have another conversation. Like when your chick is on social media, because this is stuff that they might be consuming. And I know a bunch of women are looking at this thinking like, yeah, this is a real thing. Honey, come look at this. Man, if your wife
Yeah,
sends
that's
this to
not a
you,
good
divorce
look.
her.
That
Divorce
is,
her.
this ain't a good look.
Yeah, if your wife
Um,
sends this to you, divorce her.
I was saying earlier. So I remember a long time ago, I read this book from Kurt Warner. If you know football, you know who Kurt Warner is. First things first, it's a really good book. I read it a while ago. One of the things he mentioned in that book, and I'll never forget this, because I think he has like 7 kids or something like that. And one of the things that he called out was it's very important that you spend one-on-one time with your kids, regardless of how many you have. And a lot of these parents that are working these full-time jobs every day, they'll like try to take a shortcut and do just like one big family trip. But
Sure. Yeah.
every kid has their own experience and personality, like, and you kind of got to get with them in a one-on-one setting to kind of figure out how they work and what's effective with them and what's not. And a
Yeah.
lot of parents skip steps like that. I want to go back to 2 articles that I just posted. They're a little bit outdated, but there's newer data to support this as well. The first one is from the Pew Research Center, and it talks about how more and more women are realizing, oh snap, I made a mistake. I should have been a stay-at-home mom.
Oh
Like they're
hell.
realizing this. You
Let
can
me bring
see
that up.
the number. If you look at the graph at the very top, the number of women that want to be stay-home moms, it's starting to curve back up a little bit. But what's interesting is if you take Gen Z away from this graph,
You
it
talking about
curves
this
up
graph?
even yeah, it curves up even faster because the Gen Zers are still in that phase where they don't want to have kids or be mothers. I think I saw something that said 56% of Gen Z women don't want to have kids or be moms. So if you take them, if you remove them from the equation, this graph is goes up even faster. So I say all that to say,
Hmm.
and I have a corporate job, and I'm familiar with a lot of women who left because their husband gave them the option to be a stay-at-home mom, and they took the option. One of
Facts.
my very close work peers, a very sharp underwriter, she left for that very reason. She had her first kid. Her husband told her, "Do you want to stay home?" Without even thinking about it, she said, "Yep, I want to stay home and be a mom." So that's what she's doing now. You're seeing more and more of this. Now, there's also another article I share right after that. This is millennials, which is what we are. We're at the top part of it, but we're millennials. More and more millennial women, almost to the point where they align with Gen X, regret not staying home and being moms. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of women out here who wish they could be stay-at-home moms, but they can't. So I say all that to say these are the women that should be speaking up more and more because the ones
Yes.
with the loudest voices aren't saying this type of stuff.
That's a fantastic point. Women, do your jobs and shame this dude into oblivion. Act like this guy is Andrew Tate and shame this dude because he's telling you lies. He's telling you he's creating a situation where you have to start doubting your man if you have to work. There are some cases it's just going to happen. But if you guys are okay with that and you're moving towards like the same goal, then there's going to be a point where he doesn't have to work or I'm sorry, where she won't have to work. I feel like it. And sometimes, I mean, when men retire, they go back to work because they got to be doing something. So most of the time, men are going to be working. But I want the person that I'm going to be with. I want her to have a soft life as well too. I want her to be able to like raise our kid. I want her to be able to like work with me as I build whatever company I'm trying to build up. And this is not going to be applicable to like a lot of corporate people or people that work in like like some specialized industry or doctors or lawyers. You're probably not going to be able to work with your wife or your spouse or whatever. But for a lot of men that are in the middle class, you are able to work with your wife. Just figure out like what's the business move, what you can do together. I mean, sometimes, she might be the accountant, she might be the social media person. Like, there's a ton of things that men are able to do. My problem with this guy is that he's just shaming men, making it sound like men are just not able to like don't want to step up, like there's just some type of immature. Like, so what if the guy wants to have a boat or whatever the case is? If he's worked hard to like go get that boat or for you guys to enjoy that boat, then you're going to reap the rewards all the time anyways. Like, what does it matter? Or if she has to work part-time and maybe she wants to work part-time, like whatever the case is, you ain't about to tell me this dude, we don't know what his wife looks like, what his situation looks like, telling women, talking to other men's women, telling them what they should be doing in their fucking relationship. Like, that's just a bridge too far for me. And you men, you should be saying more stuff like this. But these are the types of simp gump men that are out here. These beta men are out here trying to get in these women's ears. That's the dude that be trying to get in your wife's ear at work, telling her like, yeah, you don't need him. He's probably a jerk. Let's go to lunch. I'll buy you lunch. Like, those are the type of men that you
Yeah,
should be aware of.
that's the dude that she's thinking about when you smashing her too. If you want to keep it 100.
Facts. Like, oh, he takes care of me. He thinks about me, man. All right, we've cooked
By the
enough
way,
on this.
you mentioned Andrew Tate. I just got it real quick. There's been some rumors circulating. The Guardian just ran an opinion article. He might be running for prime minister in the UK.
Oh yeah. But I don't think it's going to happen. The problem with Andrew Tate is everybody knows how to go after Andrew Tate, and it's like fair or foul, it is what it is. But women, you made a fantastic point. Women have to start calling this stuff out. Like, no, do not let these types of men try to. I mean, he's really just gaslighting you girls, thinking that you have an opportunity here, and you really don't. Like, most women are end up like without a husband, or a lot of them just are single moms. So what are you going to do then? What's his advice to the single moms? He doesn't have any because he doesn't care. That's the point. So, all right. Well,
Yeah.
I've did enough on that one. You can tell I was definitely, I should have turned on I should have had the air raid going. Anyways, final words, MC?
This was a good one, man. I was hoping we was gonna get to the DEI stuff, but I think we gonna have to circle back to that next week because I know we both have some hot takes on DEI.
Yeah, well, that one guy's a DEI for social media for the simps out there. So it is what it is. All right. Adios, everyone.
Peace.